Yeah, actually the origin of Malo was, we were called the Malabus back in the 60s, and my guitar player and my bass player happened to go in the Army. So what I did was I auditioned a kid called Pablo Tellez. He played in a cumbia band.
Arcelio actually, he saw me playing somewhere, I can't remember. And then he, the one that came to me and told me that, hey, our bass player is going to the Army. I guess they draft him and they needed a bass player. And I says, you want to come and see if you like it?
Then I auditioned a guitar player, 17 years old. His name was Jorge. I never knew his last name because I'm not really good with names, but I liked the way he played. Then so we practicing, and then later on, about 4 months later, I found out his name was Jorge Santana, which was Carlos Santana's brother.
I grew up in the neighborhood, the Mission District. A few of my friends were in bands. They were playing rock and roll, surf music. So that was my introduction to music. A few years after that, the whole thing in San Francisco started to bloom, the hippie movement. And there were concerts in Golden Gate Park. There was a straight theater on Haight Street, which was very popular, and I think the Santana Blues Band used to play down there. There's so much music. So the kids in my neighborhood, I lived in the Mission District, and then my family moved over to Presida Park. So there was a lot of blues bands in the neighborhood. You guys were playing harmonicas and really getting into the blues. So that was the next step for me was playing the blues.
Well, now when you talk about the Malabus, this is a group that you started?
Yeah.
Back in the day?
Back in the day, me and Mauricio Salinas.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, Malabus were started before. It's a funny story. I never wanted to be a singer. I was singing on the steps with again, there's this guy named Big Benny Calvin and Johnny Rodriguez. They had a group, and the baritone singer went to jail. So they used to practice right on my steps, like in New York, the stoops. So what happened was that he said, "You come on, man, we need a baritone singer." I can't sing, man. I don't even want to try, man. That's how my dad says I sound like a dog in heat, So I went over there and I said, "Okay, man." So I started singing. They were showing me the harmony and how to know the note, and we used to sing on the stoops. Then this guy drives up. And he's listening to us sing, and he calls me over. He goes, "Man, I like the way you sing." And he says, "I can't sing." He says, "Well, I got a group called the Malabus, man. Would you come and rehearse?" "I'll try it." I went in there, forget it. Oh, man, the rest is history for me. I mean, I found my, my niche in life.
And we had one manager. He was from Nicaragua, and then he went on vacation to Nicaragua. And while he was over there, we met this Chinese guy, Chris Wong. And then we fired the other manager while he was over there. And we kept this one. Actually, I didn't do nothing. It was Arcelio. I just, don't tell me about business or nothing. I say, yes, I always want to play. That was me. And so, but then this Chris, he had contacts. He knew people. And then he knew this producer, David Rubinson. And so he talked to him about the band, invited him to the clubs to listen to it, and actually he did.
The thing about the Malabus is they were a top 40 band. and they were playing at this club called the Nightlife on San Bruno Avenue. So a few of the guys in the band, they just weren't ready. They weren't ready to be on a record.
Now, David Rubinson already had done the producing for Carlos Santana, and for Chicago, Blood, Sweat, and Tears. And for us, it was a big thing that this man was coming over to listen to us, right? For me, it's just another man, just somebody sitting there. I could care less. But yes, I wanted to show that I could play. That was it. And we finished. And then we sat down at the table. And it was funny because his words was, okay, George, Arcelio, and Pablo. Yeah, you three are the nucleus. The rest of them, no. In other words, us three and everybody else, out.
I feel love coming on, feel it coming my way. It's a beautiful feeling I have inside. Happened just today, walking down the city streets, watching people smiling, their hearts so sweet. Yes, love is everywhere.
The whole thing happened pretty fast for me. My first band, I was 14. I had just learned how to play the guitar. I only knew like 4 chords. My cousin talked me into trying out for this audition, and I said, okay, let's go for it, let's do it. And they liked me, so they kept me, and I was a guitar player. But and so a lot of my musical training came in that band. After that, with the blues thing, as I said, there were so many bands in my neighborhood, so I would just like kind of hang out in garage parties and just watch guitar players and learn that way. And that's how I first learned about Chico Hamilton, Gabor Szabo, Django Reinhardt, Michael Bloomfield, B.B. King, was just hanging out with these guys that were older than me. And so through that, the band that I was in, Naked Lunch, we started the opportunity came for us to start gigging around town. And so we sort of like, that was our introduction to the whole music scene. And I was able to kind of like carve out a little name for myself. But it was through that band that I was first approached by Chris Wong. And he said, right now we're working on this project. And he said, you might be interested in coming over and checking what we're doing now. At first I was like, no, thank you, but no thank you, because I had my own band and we were doing pretty well. And it just seemed like things were just about to break for us. So I declined at first.
Naked Lunch was Bell's group. That was Abel Zarate's group, and they were great. And out of that group, we got Bell and Richard Sprimmage, the drummer. They were Naked Lunch. So the Malibus and Naked Lunch got together, and we formed Malo.
I'll just say that we made some bad choices, and the hammer came down on us, and the Fillmore Records deal fell through. So it was not long after that that Roy Murray, who was a trumpet player in Naked Lunch, and also became trumpet player for Malo, called me up and said, hey, I'm going to check out this thing with the Malibus. Do you want me to tell them that you might be interested now? So at that time, I was in between bands, and I was sort of devastated from the whole Fillmore Records thing. I was like, whoa, what happened? So I said, okay, and I went in there, and basically I showed what I had to bring to the table. And what I had to bring at that time was not only being the second guitarist behind George, but also my writing ability. So pretty much it was like, okay, you're in.
And that was it. And then all of a sudden from there, it just went on to another level, to where we went to the heliport, and now we were recording in this big, huge space with all the equipment we needed. And Now we had roadies and it's like, this stuff, different.
It was like that.
They just like that, quick. And then we started rehearsing, for the songs which we already were doing at the nightlife, at the nightclub, like Nena, Suavecito, and other songs.
So we started practicing at the Bill Graham offices, and the Fillmore was right across the street. So every day, we practiced every day, and for a year before our album came out. And we had like Nena. I wrote Nena because a little girl was crying on the street, and I was just trying to make her laugh. And I go, Nena, yo quiero bailar, and I was making her laugh. We went to rehearsal, and then Pablo Tellez and we got the bass line together and everything, and then we went from there.
I don't think they really knew what it was going to be. I was given carte blanche. Chris came to hear my band, and he liked what we were doing because we were kind of like a Santana with horns. We tried to emulate that sound a little bit. We were also from the Mission. So I guess you could say that Naked Lunch was like the second band in San Francisco using congas at the time. Original band. Let me rephrase that. Original band, because the Malibus were a top 40 band. So here was a band, and we were sort of playing kind of bluesy Latin rock already, but we had horns. And so, but then eventually 3 members from there became members of Malibus, who became a Latin rock band with horns.
Now, why would anyone be interested in signing a top 40 band?
To be very candid, to be very honest, I think that at that point Santana was hot. Not to take away anything. It's kind of like the Stevie Ray Vaughan, Jimmy Ray Vaughan kind of thing. There's a younger brother and he also plays. Hey, let's see what we can do with this.
And then the one who came in and put musicians around us 3, which was David Rubenson. Then he started getting people like Luis Gasca, like Richard Commode. We kept, we got Raul Rico. We have Leo Rosales, people like that. But basically, he's the one that was in charge of putting the people, the musicians around us.
But when a lot of people, one guy that really does not get a lot of recognition was Abel Zarate, because Abel Zarate, like your favorite song, which is Latin Bugaloo, and me and him wrote that song, and I mean, Abel Zarate was he was a genius, man. To me, as a guitar player, he was great, but as a songwriter, he's a genius, and we put things together so fast. It wasn't fun. Even Pana, we put that together, and I've written a lot of songs with Bell, and I just want to give him his just due, man, because it's a shame that that such a great guitar player. I mean, he's well known for his work, but if he walked down the street, nobody know who he is, and I just want to make sure he gets just due.
I was brought in because they clearly did not have a cohesive, strong direction musically. They had bits and pieces of songs, but the music wasn't strong enough. This could not be George Santana's first outing. You understand? It's just the music wasn't supporting that. So they started looking, which was a wise move on Chris Wong's part, I think. I don't know how much of it David Rubinson had to do with it, because Chris was sort of the liaison. But it was a wise move for them to look for stronger players, look for more seasoned players, to sort of add to the mix so that there would be something more to work with.
Working at the heliport, working on the arrangements, listening to the great horn section. To me, it was like the greatest feeling I felt proud. I felt big. I felt that I was the one, the best. Listening to it, when we were doing it, it was hard for me to believe that Abel and I, we were able to do something like that, or even myself. To come up with something like that, I never thought. But when it was recorded, and I would listen back, then that was the real impact right then. And I remember listening to it. I would sit and I would listen to it over and over and over and over and over. It's like it was somebody else had done it, and it just brought such an enjoyment, a completion in my life, as far as that moment. See.